It's all coming up for you this morning here on Daybreak.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Today is Thursday, August 6th. I'm Jennifer Abreu.
And I'm Joe Morano. We have a lot to get to over the course of the next 2 hours for you. Got to just get you to Friday. I think that's our main job today, right?
Yes, I said in the newsroom earlier today, it's Friday Junior.
Everyone
We're
calls
almost
it that.
there.
Good mix of people that like that and don't like that. It's too much of a
Yes.
tease, you know what I mean?
That's
I don't know.
true.
Elisa Raffa, where do you stand on the Friday Junior terminology? You just prefer Thursday.
Friday Eve, I think, makes more sense.
Friday
no?
Eve.
Ah, that's
yeah.
good. Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, I got this one off the internet. I'm not sure how I really feel about it either, but it's just a thing some people say. Friday Junior. Friday Eve.
Friday Eve.
I like that too. But it's too early to be Eve. Later on today, it'll be Eve.
We're almost there, right? Either way you put it, just one step away. What you'll notice out there this morning is that it's pleasant like it was the last 2 days, and this will be the last day that we feel like that. Tomorrow morning, you're looking at storms and it feeling more humid. It is 65 degrees in Springfield. You've got some clouds out there this morning with southerly winds, and dew points still in the upper 50s, so it's still feeling pretty good. Got a couple of clouds out there this morning, but it is dry and quiet. We are warmer now than we were this time yesterday by about 5 to 10 degrees. It's 63 degrees in Monette, 63 in Branson, and 65 degrees in Springfield. Now, while it's warmer, the dew points are still in control in the middle and upper 50s. You have some stickier 60s to the south and west. So most of us are feeling comfortable, but you'll find an uptick in that humidity as we head through the day today. We'll start to feel stickier. Dry roads out there through the afternoon. We really shouldn't find any showers or storms for the most part until the overnight. So at the pool, you're looking at temperatures a little bit warmer today in the middle 80s. With some clouds, will probably turn partly to mostly cloudy. So tracking a warmer, stickier day. Scattered showers and storms tonight, and then again tomorrow. The weekend still looks hot and humid. Details on that coming up in 10 minutes.
Tuesday's primary election was a practice run of sorts for county clerks and election officials throughout the state for the general election in November. Now, in our series here, we talk with Greene County Clerk Shane Scholler about how he feels the election went, and he believes it went well and will help focus on what needs to be done for November. Polling sites had plexiglass shields between voters and election judges, and markers were placed on the ground to help distance. Scholler says about double the amount of absentee or mail-in ballots were received compared to a normal August election. He also says even though they made changes to keep people safe, there's still more to do for November.
Even more cleaner there present. For example, yesterday one of the things we figured out was we need a little bit more of the spray cleaner. We were able to take that to the polling locations. We thought we had enough to start the day with and be able to end the day with, but that was one of the adjustments we had to make. So we'll take a look at that. We'll also make sure, you know, do we have enough people to make sure they can keep up with the voters as they come in throughout the day. But
there will be meetings later this month to assess what went well and what the county needs to improve upon for November.
We're learning about new coronavirus cases at a school in Laclede County after 5 patients attended a summer school program at Joel E. Barber Elementary School in Lebanon. Exposure dates were from July 27th through the 31st. All patients were symptomatic and in close contact with a positive case. Health officials say other students and staff at summer school during the same time frame should monitor for symptoms and quarantine for 2 weeks. One other positive case visited 2 churches and 2 businesses in the same town.
Governor Mike Parson says the state will continue to focus on the health and safety of students and school staff as they move forward with the start of the school year. The governor also explained updated school reopening guidance.
This document, which was initially released on July the 9th, now includes information on reactive strategies that Missouri schools should be prepared for with the reopening, such as what to do if a student or staff becomes symptomatic at school, how to handle positive cases of COVID-19 in school communities, and how to best assist local health officials with contact identification and tracing.
Now, Governor Parson is still reminding Missourians to wear masks, keep your distance, and wash hands often.
Today is day 2 of our parent preseason series. Caller 10's Nigel McDonald met with a Nixa high school instructor and joins us now live from the newsroom with his advice for parents with teens heading back to school. Nigel, good morning.
Yeah, Jen, good morning. Well, high school brings with it a heavier workload and extracurricular activities. But Nixa School's band instructor tells me those activities can help actually propel a student into academic success.
Great thing about extracurricular activities and co-curricular activities is, first of all, they're the best intervention strategy that you can have to get a kid plugged into the school system.
Finger says he's a perfect example.
I was not a strong student. Band was the only thing that I was really interested in. And it took me to college, got my master's, and I've been teaching it ever since.
And countless studies also back this up.
Whether it's football or cheerleading, choir, drama, band, that's a hook that can get a student connected to the school. And from there, it just builds confidence.
As with the beginning of any school year, Finger says to adopt a routine.
It is not just a student issue. I think it's a teacher issue too. Just to get your body adjusted because, that's just good practice anyway.
When it comes to virtual learning, he says,
Some kids can flourish on that on their own. Some other students are going to need a little bit more guidance from the parents.
He says to check in with your high schooler daily.
Even the best kids need some guidance, and even the best kids need maybe some checks to make sure that they didn't fall prey to distractions. Getting home and saying, hey, what did you do today? Show me what you did. Just staying engaged with your kid.
Finally, Finger says to never feel hesitant about reaching out to your students' teachers.
I know I'd much rather get emails about parents wanting to know about band questions as far as how to play their instrument, or my students struggling with this, as opposed to other emails that sometimes aren't content related.
Well, Nixa Schools will resume classes August 24th. Coming up tomorrow, we'll wrap up our parent preseason with advice from one of the district's elementary school teachers. Reporting live from the newsroom, Nigel McDonald, Ozarks First.
All right, thank you, Nigel. Speaking of school, Missouri State is making some changes regarding testing and acceptance. MSU is making standardized testing like the ACT or SAT optional for incoming freshmen. Students will still have to have a 3.25 high school GPA. The change is due to exams being canceled last spring.
Putting crime into focus, a St. Robert man was arrested yesterday after Laclede County deputies found $20,000 worth of an illegal drug on him. The 41-year-old was not named. He had over 200 grams of meth with him. A deputy noticed a truck parked in an odd way and asked to search it. This happened in the 23,000 block of Falcon Road, southeast of Lebanon. The suspect has a lengthy criminal history. Sheriff David Millsap says this was a good example of proactive police work.
Doors are closing at an illicit massage business in Springfield. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt announced his office won a landmark victory against defendant Hongbo Key and her massage parlor Spring Massage. A judge ruled Key is permanently prohibited from any future activity from posting on certain websites and is subjected to random inspections by the Attorney General's office. Stay with us. Still ahead for you on Daybreak. Instagram's rival TikTok are now feuding, and a new feature from Instagram to help you fight the TikTok craze. That's all coming up when we return.
From Color 10 Ozarks First, Jennifer Abreu, Joe Morano, and weather with meteorologist Alisa Rafa. This is Color 10 News Daybreak. And now weather with meteorologist Elisa Raffa, certified by WeatherRate for the most accurate forecast in the Ozarks.
Good morning. We are starting out a little bit warmer this morning than we have the last couple of mornings. We're still dry and quiet at 65 degrees. You still have those dew points not too bad in the middle and upper 50s. So again, it's warmer out there this morning, about 5 to 10 degrees warmer in most spots. It's 65 degrees in Springfield, 63 degrees in Branson, and 60 degrees in Fort Leonard Wood. But it doesn't feel bad quite yet, because you still have these dew points in the middle and upper 50s for the most part. A little bit stickier to the south and west with those dew points in the 60s, and more of us will get in on those stickier dew points as we head through the day. So we're still pretty comfortable this morning, but we'll start to climb the muggy meter as we head through the day today, turning a little bit more sticky and then eventually more humid as we get closer to the weekend. That's because that area of high pressure that's kept us cool and comfortable the last couple of days is now moving to the east. When high pressure moves to the east, you get southerly winds on the backside. That's pulling up this warmer and more humid air mass where it's really kicking in parts of Oklahoma and Kansas this morning, and we tap into that as we head through the day today and then into tomorrow. That will also generate storm chances again for us tonight into tomorrow. We'll have some showers and storms pretty likely. So what we're looking at today is a mostly dry day. You'll probably find an increase in clouds, but I don't really expect too much in the way of rain today. It will be warmer with highs back in the middle 80s and a little bit more sticky. Then by tonight and into tomorrow, that disturbance gets a little bit closer where we're looking at some scattered showers and storms, again, especially overnight tonight, tomorrow morning, and early tomorrow afternoon. It will be warm and humid with those temperatures in the upper 80s and those dew points continuing to climb. So you can see an increase in cloud cover today. Will be partly, maybe mostly cloudy. Highs in the middle 80s, again, warmer and stickier. Overnight, you'll have some showers and storms start to erupt. Could be a wet morning commute tomorrow with some locally heavy rain and lightning. Temperatures in the upper 60s, not quite as comfortable as they've been. We'll have some storms possible early, some clouds in the afternoon tomorrow, with again those highs back in the middle 80s. Then as we head through the weekend, that big area of high pressure starts to take over. What we're doing tonight and tomorrow is a transition period where you've got the storms giving way to a different air mass. That's the different air mass. That big dome of heat and humidity takes over this weekend, where it's going to be a hot and humid weekend with those highs in the lower 90s feeling closer to 100. Then next week, that heat kind of eases a little bit and rain chances become likely again as this high pressure starts to get chipped away at a little bit going into next week. So overall, the heat's going to return. It gets warmer today and tomorrow with highs back in the middle 80s. You're looking at some low to mid 90s this weekend and into early next week. More of an August-like heat. You're warmer and stickier today with storms arriving tonight. Scattered storms on Friday, maybe some spotty storms on Saturday, especially to the east. Then you're looking at some of those threats with locally heavy rain, lightning, gusty winds out of those storms. We dry out by Sunday into Monday. Hot and humid all weekend with highs in the 90s feeling closer to 100. Then those storm chances return again going into the middle of next week. 86 degrees today, warmer and sticky. 66 degrees tonight with those scattered showers and storms. 85 tomorrow with a healthier storm threat. Maybe some spotty storms going into Saturday. Hot and humid all weekend. Highs in the low to middle 90s feeling closer to 100. We keep those temperatures in the lower 90s with some storm chances by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week.
Stocks rose sharply Wednesday. The Dow soared 373 points. The Nasdaq gained 57 for another record close, and the S&P 500 added 21. Investors are hopeful that Congress will soon reach a deal on a new coronavirus relief bill. The Senate is delaying its recess next week in hopes legislation is ready. If Democrats and Republicans fail to find common ground, President Trump says he is considering executive action to extend the now expired federal moratorium on evictions. Gold is one of the few assets outperforming the Nasdaq of late this year. Its value has surged by more than 30%. An ounce of gold is now trading at an all-time high, $2,054. Experts believe gold prices will continue to climb for some time. One Bank of America analyst predicts it will peak around $3,000 an ounce within the next 18 months. Facebook has come out with its answer to TikTok Instagram Reels. The feature allows users to post 15-second videos that they've edited and added effects to. The enhanced feature was launched Wednesday in 50 countries, including the U.S. Now, during a congressional hearing last week, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg was asked about his company's history of copying its competitors. Zuckerberg didn't deny it, but said the practice isn't about destroying its competition. He said the goal is to, quote, build the best services possible. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. I'm Diane King Hall.
Up next in sports, the Cardinals are back in St. Louis and getting ready to resume the season. That will happen tomorrow against the Cubs. We have a preview of that when we come back. Stay with us.
And now, sports on Color 10 News.
The St. Louis Cardinals are back home and back on the Busch Stadium baseball diamond. This after spending 6 days of isolation in a Milwaukee hotel. The team will hold another workout this afternoon and then restart the season at home against the Cubs on Friday. Yadier Molina and Paul DeJong and 5 others are not with the team as they stay quarantined while recovering from the COVID-19 virus. Skipper Mike Schultz says Tommy Edman will take DeJong's spot at short, and KK Kim is moving into the starting rotation.
This is a virus that almost 5 million people have in our country, and is a reason the world's shut down. This thing is stealthy, and this thing moves quick, and it is clearly nasty. It's been surprising to me, the fact that it was able to spread with people that, I don't know what more some people could have done. I know the people that are involved, and they're very responsible people. I witnessed the behavior responsibility. I know people were diligent about what they were doing at the ballpark.
The Kansas City Royals continued their series with the Cubs last night. The location moved from Wrigley Field to Kauffman Stadium. The Royals were hoping a change in location would result in a change of fortune. Kansas City stuck in a 5-game losing skid, and the Royals get on the board in the third. Whit Merrifield would ground into this 1-4-3 double play. Miguel Franco scores to make it 1-0 Royals, but the Cubs would tie it up in the fourth. Javi Baez flares this one to short right. He thought it was going foul, but it drops in fair. Good enough to score Chris Bryant to make it a 1-1 game. Cubs made it 2-1, then added a bunch in the 8th inning. First, Baez with a sharp single to right, scoring Bryant to make it a 3-1 Chicago lead. Willie Contreras then follows with a single to right. Anthony Rizzo scores to make it 4-1, and the Cubs hand the Kansas City Royals their 6th straight loss, 6-1. As for college football, the NCAA says it'll make a decision by at least August 21st on whether there will be an FCS football playoff. That leaves conferences like the Valley Football Conference in limbo. The Valley's President's Council will meet today to talk about the situation. At least 4 teams are still on the Big 12 schedules, including the Missouri State Bears at Oklahoma. The other question is, do you play a season if there is no FCS playoff? The Valley says a postseason is a big piece of the president's decision making. We'll see what happens with that. I'm Dan Lucy with your morning sports.
Thank you, Dan. We are starting out a little bit warmer this morning than we've been, but it's still feeling pretty comfortable. 65 degrees in Springfield with some clouds, southerly winds, and dew points still in the upper 50s. A couple of clouds out there. It's still dry, mostly clear skies this morning. So another nice start. It's about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than yesterday in spots. We're at 65 degrees in Springfield, 64 in Branson, 63 degrees in Monette, and 61 degrees in Mountain Grove. Dew points are still in the middle and upper 50s, so it still feels pleasant for most of us, a little bit stickier down to the south and west, and more of us will get in on that sticky air mass as we get through the day today. So as you wag and walk with Warrior, you'll have some sunshine out there today, a couple of clouds, and temperatures warmer, getting into the middle 80s, but I do think we spend the day dry. Overnight, you'll have some showers and storms arriving. We could have some heavy rain possible by tomorrow morning's commute, with temperatures warmer in the upper 60s, and then we'll stay pretty warm and humid through tomorrow afternoon. So if you need to mow the lawn, today is your day to do it. You'll probably have some wet grass by tomorrow morning after we have that round of some storms. We keep a storm chance Friday and Saturday, and then we dry out on Sunday, but that heat will start to crank. So we'll have storm chances and heat returning where you're warmer and stickier today. Scattered showers and storms on Friday. Storms a little bit more spotty on Saturday. Threats both days would be locally heavy rain and lightning. The whole weekend looks pretty hot and humid, with highs in the 90s, feeling closer to 100. That heat returning again, especially by the weekend into early next week. Low to middle 90s, closer to average. 90 degrees is our average for this time of year. There's your 7-day forecast. We are transitioning out of our fall feel with some storm chances tonight into tomorrow, and the heat returns this weekend.
Plenty more ahead for you this morning. The president's comments about the coronavirus are getting some criticism as schools still prepare to resume. Stay with us. And welcome back, everyone. 5:26 this Thursday morning. Coronavirus cases in the country went up again yesterday after a two-day drop. This comes as the national death count tops 158,000 now. Schools are still also facing reopening decisions. Laura Podesta has our details from New York today.
Students have returned to class in parts of North Texas. A new academic year began yesterday in 3 school districts in rural Johnson County. There and elsewhere, parents are having to choose between in-person or remote learning.
You don't know how seriously other families are taking it.
Chicago has announced that its 350,000 plus students will start the school year online.
We also understand the struggle this will be for many of our parents.
School districts in Georgia and Mississippi also reopened this week. 2 days in, more than half a dozen students have tested positive for coronavirus. Dozens of classmates and staff members are now in quarantine.
If you look at children are almost, and I would almost say definitely, but almost immune from this disease.
On Wednesday, President Trump again said he believes that it's safe for schools to reopen. The president also said the virus would one day go away on its own. Facebook later deleted a link to Mr. Trump's comments, saying they violated its policy on coronavirus misinformation. Here in New York, checkpoints are being used to help enforce the mandatory 14-day quarantine order.
We've got 35 states now that have dangerously high infection rates. There's a lot to be concerned about.
The checkpoints will be set up at bridges and tunnels entering the city. Visitors will be instructed to isolate themselves if necessary and will be reminded that failing to comply can result in a fine of up to $10,000. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
A spokeswoman for President Trump's re-election campaign said the president meant that children are less susceptible to the effects of COVID-19.
Well, still ahead for you, plans to reopen schools, as you just heard there, is still a hot topic right now. And in Arkansas, one teacher is demanding the governor to come up with a better plan. We explain after this break. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Today is Thursday, August 6th. I'm Jennifer Abreu.
Joe Morano here with you, too. Plenty to get to on this Thursday morning as we get you set for the weekend. Meteorologist Elisa Raffa is out there for us today, too, with more good news of another non-August type day. Is that the right way to put that?
Non-August? Right. I'll take it. What do you think,
right?
Elisa?
Yeah, we're starting out comfortable again this morning, for sure. Tomorrow morning is going to look different. It'll be wet, it'll be more humid. Yeah.
Wet?
Yeah, we'll have some storms by tonight. We're in that transition zone, right? Getting rid of the fall feel, bringing back the summer feel, and in between you get the storm. So this morning, you've got that last, more comfortable start. Couple of clouds out there this morning. It is 65 degrees with some southerly winds, and the dew points still pretty comfortable in the middle and upper 50s. Quiet to start with just a couple of clouds out there this morning. We're looking at temperatures actually about 5 to 10 degrees warmer, but it still doesn't feel all that bad because you still have some of these dew points pretty comfortable. It's 65 degrees in Springfield and 64 degrees in Branson. With these dew points in the middle and upper 50s, it's a little bit stickier to the south and west, and you could see that on the Muggy Meter map. More of us will get sticky out there today, but we'll be dry through most of the afternoon, so I don't really expect any road hazards for you out there today. Out on the patio, a couple of clouds, warmer, more humid, highs in the middle 80s, 86 degrees for that high today. Scattered showers and storms tonight into tomorrow. The weekend will be hot and humid. Details on that in 10 minutes.
To some news around the region for you this half hour. The ADH says it has not given coronavirus test results to patients in Arkansas quickly enough because of a lack of contact info. Andrew Epperson explains one woman who left her number didn't find out her results until more than a month afterward.
First of all, I thought, well, it was nice of them to let me know.
I first introduced you to Janet Cherry in July. She'd been tested for COVID-19 weeks before we met and still didn't know the results.
I went and got tested on June 27th, along with several members of my family.
She finally got them, long after she'd been tested at the Fayetteville VA.
It was 2 days shy of being 5 weeks.
That's really not helpful.
Dr. Jennifer Dillahaye's with the Arkansas Department of Health and says a few things could cause this kind of lag. A testing center could neglect to process a test, reporting delay, or an ADH investigation problem. There's so many new cases that the department's having trouble keeping up.
It's very possible that any one of those steps or a combination of the steps could have caused a delay.
Dillahaye says the ADH is working on streamlining this process, and there are steps you can take if you're still waiting to hear back.
They can call our hotline and ask for a result. Someone can probably look that up for them.
Cherry says she hopes this happens soon because timing is key in this fight against the pandemic.
The governor talks about, oh, we did X number of tests today. Well, that number doesn't mean anything unless the test recipients get their results.
And as millions of Americans remain unemployed, the U.S. could be headed for a housing crisis. According to a U.S. Census Bureau survey, nearly 24 million Americans fear they will be unable to pay their rent in the coming weeks. A $600 per week federal unemployment benefit has expired, and the federal eviction moratorium, which also expired in July, only covered about 1/3 of renters, according to an analysis by the Urban Institute.
We're asking Democrats to work with us to find a solution that will temporarily stop evictions.
We can prevent Americans from being kicked out of their apartments for another few months. But if they can't pay the rent, they'll be right back at square one when the moratorium expires.
The debate over how much, if any, extra unemployment benefits should be offered remains the biggest sticking point in the stalled negotiations for a new relief package.
A school district that has already had student athletes test positive for COVID-19 is taking steps to keep its facilities and kids safe. The Farmington School District is partnering with infection prevention and control company Eason Freedom to test its buildings, classrooms, and buses to prevent infection and manage possible outbreaks. Superintendent John LaFoon says taking this step will be a safety net if the school does encounter a COVID-19 outbreak.
If we are to have an outbreak, which probably the Department of Health and the Department of Education tells us we will, each school may go through an outbreak, then we'll be able to bring in Eason Freedom and their backtrack technology to pinpoint that and allow us to make sure our facilities are safe for return.
Now, due to cases across two teams, Farmington athletics were on hold since July 23rd, with most groups resuming activities after August 1st.
Yesterday, Arkansas issued new guidance requiring schools to offer in-person classes 5 days a week. Lauren Krakow spoke with a local teacher who shared her concerns about going back to the classroom in the fall.
We're going to open schools in 2 weeks. Then we're going to make sure everybody's thoroughly infected and exposed. And then we have to close for virtual. That's the thing I want to avoid.
On Wednesday, Arkansas Department of Education Secretary Johnny Key clarified the state's back-to-school guidance, stating all school districts must offer on-site instruction 5 days a week.
This is not a change in our stance at all. We have said since day one the plan for the fall of this school year is to come back and have school on site.
This going against the Fayetteville School District's back-to-school plan. We have been made aware that some districts were making plans that were fewer than 5 days, and we felt like that the clarification was needed today to make sure that districts understood we do have a state responsibility. In July, Fayetteville Public Schools Superintendent Dr. John Colbert laid out 3 options for parents to choose from. All included at least 3 days of virtual learning for children. The district says is adjusting its plan to meet the new directive.
It's not that we don't want to be with our kids. I mean, I'm dying to see my students. I want to see them. We're just worried for our community, for ourselves, for our students.
Kelly Riley, a teacher at Fayetteville High School, says she's concerned about the state's push for in-person schooling.
They just say we have a plan. We feel strong enough that our plan is good. We haven't really seen the plan. We don't know what they based it on. We don't know any of the numbers. We don't know anything. He just says we have a plan and this is what's best interest for Arkansas. I don't agree.
Especially with the numbers in Washington County staying high.
I think there is a vast majority of teachers, educators, staff that feel this is unwise.
The district will provide a new survey to families, allowing them to reselect their options.
And we would love to go to face-to-face once it's safe. We want our kids safe. We want our coworkers safe. We want a better plan from our governor.
A beach on Beaver Lake is closing temporarily because of E. coli. Indian Creek Swim Beach is located near Rogers. The Corps of Engineers says higher than acceptable E. coli levels were recently found during routine testing. Until testing shows normal levels, that swim area will remain closed to the public.
We have a traffic alert to share with you now. The eastbound lane of Commercial Street will be closed between Benton Avenue and Washington Avenue starting today through next Wednesday. The work will also impact the southbound portion of the traffic circle at Washington Avenue.
And a little bit warmer this morning by about 5 to 10 degrees warmer. It's 65 degrees in Springfield right now. Details on heat, humidity, and storm chances returning coming up next.
And now weather with meteorologist Elisa Raffa, certified by WeatherRate for the most accurate forecast in the Ozarks.
Good morning. We've got a few clouds in Springfield as that sun is coming up. It's a little bit warmer out there this morning, 65 degrees in Springfield right now with some southerly winds. The dew point's still pretty pleasant. We're about 5 to 10 degrees warmer now than we were this time yesterday. It's 65 degrees in Springfield, 59 degrees in Rolla, 63 in Ava, and 64 degrees in Branson. But it doesn't feel that bad out there because you still have dew points in the middle and upper 50s. They haven't really moistened up yet. A little bit sticky down to the south and west, though. So we're starting out for the most part comfortable, but we'll start to climb the muggy meter as we head through the day today, with things feeling more sticky today, and then eventually by the weekend more humid. And that's because the Canadian area of high pressure that's kept us cool and comfortable, that's now over to the east. And when high pressure moves to the east, you get southerly winds on the backside. Those southerly winds bringing in a warmer, more humid air mass. It's kicking this morning in parts of Oklahoma and Kansas, and we'll start to tap into that as we head through the day. You also have some storms coming with that, and we'll have those showers and storms get into our area by tonight. So today I think will mostly be dry, just some clouds, maybe a spotty shower to the west. It'll be warmer and more humid. Then you'll have showers and storms by tonight into tomorrow. They'll be scattered. You'll have some heavy rain, and you'll have some lightning out there, and it will be warm and humid. So a couple of clouds out there today, with temperatures in the middle 80s. Showers and storms overnight tonight. Could start out tomorrow morning with some heavy rain. Temperatures will be warmer in the upper 60s. Then you're looking at some clouds in the afternoon tomorrow. Still pretty warm and humid. We're getting these storm chances because we're transitioning to that hotter pattern. That big ridge or area of high pressure that's going to be hot and humid, that's going to fill in by the weekend, where you're looking at temperatures back in the low to middle 90s. Feeling closer to 100. Then at the middle of next week, we'll start to have this high pressure get chipped away a little bit more, and you'll find those storm chances returning. So the heat again returning in a big way. Temperatures back in the low to middle 90s starting this weekend into early next week. Expect a warmer and stickier day today, with storms becoming likely tonight and into tomorrow. Maybe some spotty storms on Saturday with some heavy rain and lightning threats. Then you're hot and humid all weekend, with temperatures in the 90s, feeling closer to 100. 86 degrees out there today, warmer and sticky on southerly winds. 66 degrees overnight tonight with scattered showers and storms. We keep that storm threat tomorrow. 85 degrees, will be warm and humid with those storms, likely especially early. Maybe some spotty storms on Saturday, but we'll start to dry out there. Temperatures in the lower 90s. Summery heat and humidity through the rest of the weekend and into early next week, with highs in the low to middle 90s, feeling closer to 100. The overnight lows also get pretty warm, back in the lower 70s.
All right, up next for you, there is a massive recall for a major automaker.
And a tragic surprise for a bride and her wedding party. We explain in just a few moments.
In some news around the world, some horrifying moments for a bride and her wedding party from this week as they were getting set for that wedding after a massive explosion took place in Beirut. Take a listen. That blast there blows her back, and the shock is so strong, pushes that photographer down at this street. 135 people have now been counted as dead and about 5,000 were injured. In our 6 o'clock hour, we will have a listen at what President Trump has to say about this situation.
The Eiffel Tower went dark at midnight last night to honor the victims of the Beirut explosion. Paris Mayor Hidalgo tweeted, "The city of Paris will provide an emergency aid of 100,000 euros, approximately $118,000 to Beirut."
In some consumer news for you, telemedicine has increased its services since the pandemic started. You likely know that. But the most vulnerable population might be the most disadvantaged when it comes to this format. A study looked at more than 4,000 older adults using data from 2018. Based on their findings, researchers estimate that about 13 million older Americans were not ready for video visits, mostly because of inexperience with technology. Telephone visits seemed able to accommodate more patients, but millions would still have issues because of hearing problems, problems speaking, or dementia.
Massive recalls for a major automaker. Officials at Honda announcing more than 1.6 million vehicle recalls. Affected cars include certain recent models of the Odyssey minivan and the Pilot and Passport SUVs. Problems with backup cameras, broken dashboard fixtures, and faulty latch systems on select doors are some of the main issues prompting this recall. Honda dealerships can begin fixing issues starting September 23rd.
Walmart is turning some of its store parking lots into drive-in theaters. Starting August 14th, Walmart will transform 160 stores into those theaters. Drive-in theaters, as you know, have been making a comeback these last few months as a safer alternative to traditional movie theaters that are closed in much of the U.S. You can visit walmartdrivein.com to get dates, locations, and movies. About 320 showings are going to run through October 21st.
Good morning, it's 5:50. We're checking your weather on the 10th here on Color 10. A really pretty sunrise out there this morning. Some pretty pinks, a couple of clouds. It is 65 degrees with southerly winds and dew points in the upper 50s. So we're starting out again quiet again, just a few clouds on satellite and radar. It's about 5 to 10 degrees warmer now than it was this time yesterday, but it still feels pretty comfortable. It's 65 degrees in Springfield, 63 in Monette, and 64 in Branson. It's still pretty comfortable because you still have those dew points in the middle and upper 50s. They're a little bit stickier to the south and west, and more of us will get in on that sticky feel as we head through the day today. So warmer at the pool today and more sticky with that high at 86 degrees, a couple of clouds, and warmer as you fire up the grill. Again, you're looking at those temperatures in the 80s. We'll have things be a little bit muggier through the evening, and then some storms be likely overnight. So a couple of clouds out there today, warmer middle 80s, showers and storms overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, starting out probably with a wet morning commute, and we'll keep some clouds and warmer 80s by tomorrow. So if you want to do some fishing, today's a nice day. You'll have some rain chances Friday and Saturday, and then it will be hot as you head through the weekend. Temperatures back in the low to middle 90s, feeling closer to 100. So expect a sticky day today, storms tonight, and maybe tomorrow and Saturday with some locally heavy rain and lightning. A hot and humid weekend with temperatures back in the 90s as that heat returns after a break from it. We're looking at highs back in the low to middle 90s this weekend and into early next week with our average around 90 degrees. Again, we'll have some storm chances as we transition from this fall-like pattern back to a summery one. Jen?
Love Island will return without its usual backdrop. And Jay-Z's Rock Nation is helping students, and it's a sleepover like no other. Danya Backus has your eye on entertainment this morning.
Love Island is returning for a second season, but the all-new cast will not spend their time on a beautiful tropical island. Because of COVID-19, they'll be looking for love while sequestered in a bubble at the Cromwell Hotel in Las Vegas. Love Island kicks off with a 2-hour premiere August 24th and will air nightly. Get ready for a sleepover like no other.
Guys, ninjas just stole your parents.
Hello again, Matilda. Time to get the old band back together.
During a sleepover with friends, 2 siblings discover their seemingly normal mom has a criminal past. When she and her husband are kidnapped, the children are forced to team up to rescue their parents. The Sleepover, starring Malin Ackerman, Ken Marino, and Joe Manganiello, streams on Netflix August 21st. And Jay-Z's Rock Nation Entertainment Company is partnering with Brooklyn's Long Island University to launch the Rock Nation School of Music, Sports, and Entertainment. The new school will begin enrolling students for the fall 2021 semester. 25% of the incoming freshman class will receive Rock Nation Hope scholarships and will graduate without any debt. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Coming up, Google is trying to promote safety during the COVID-19 pandemic. We'll explain how after this break.
Google's Doodle is promoting the mask wearing, guys, and the
Aw.
distancing.
The letters are wearing masks.
I always love these Google Doodles, right?
I saw this yesterday. They had the mask one on. It's cute.
Yeah, they're joining the initiative to letting people know, hey, slow down this coronavirus and stop the spread and everything, right?
Oh,
Not
and the
bad.
letter E sends a little heart emoji into the air, too.
It's not bad. Just adhering to those guidelines, of course, because this is what we've been saying now for a few months at this point, right? Just
Yeah, and
try
then
and
if
keep
you
safe.
click on it, it will take you to Google's COVID-19 prevention page, and where you can find some tips on there, some safety tips. Also new in the internet this morning, Instagram Reels.
New in the internet. Yeah, everyone's talking about what the Reels are. It's the response to TikTok, basically,
They're
right?
basically TikToks. I watched maybe 2 Reels so far since yesterday, and they look exactly like TikTok. And the big conversation around TikTok was its safety and how it can maybe take people's data and information.
That's right.
So people are thinking with the Instagram Reels it'll be a safer option. So we'll see how this takes off. Kind of like how Instagram started stories,
Yeah.
and that came from Snapchat, and now it's a whole thing on Instagram. So curious to see how Reels do on
And
Instagram.
Facebook status updates came from Twitter. Just
There you
saying.
go.
We're just all this is going to
Nothing is
result in is just
new.
more people dancing on the internet. I
Yeah,
think, right?
More dances.
For sure. I
Yeah.
think it'll take me time to use it. It took me time to get used to the stories on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right. But
I'm used to.
You can get used to the grill, right?
Yeah, 86 degrees as you flip over those burgers today.
All right.
Warmer out there.
Another hour of Daybreak is on the way. Stay with us, everyone.